to move to our last speaker, Mbhoni. Mbhoni is the reason that we're having this series. He's the one who initiated this for his students. So Mbhoni works for Global Conservation Corps in Limpopo. And what they do is they connect students with wildlife. And he works with communities just outside the Kruger National Park. He's going to go into details on that himself. So Mbhoni, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Stella, and thank you so much to Benice, Kutala, and Bongani for the amazing stories and information that you've shared. Yes, I'm Mbhoni Mzamane, coming all the way from Malamlele, here in Limpopo Province, South Africa, and currently working for the Global Conservation Corps as a community liaison officer, as Stella has mentioned. But a bit about my background and where I'm coming from. Not so much different from what Mr. Kutala and Mr. Vongani had mentioned. Or maybe let me mention one story that has to do with where this journey actually started. The love for nature, the love for conservation, the love for our environment at large. I was fortunate that Malamlele is situated 70 kilometers away from the Punda Maria gate of the Kruger National Park. And my grandparents' place, it's about 30 kilometers away from the very same gate, Punda Maria. And my grandfather was a conservation enthusiast because he was fortunate to have studied agronomy from the University of Fort Hare, which gave him the nickname Murimisi, which means the farmer, and also Pula Vusiwana, which means the one who eradicates us from poverty, because he was the first person to get a qualification, which happened to be a qualification within the conservation field. So that was transferred to my father, who took us to the Kruger National Park gate. Most of the times to the gate, actually, and not into the park, where we got opportunities, although to see impalas and elephants as well. But remembering my first game drive, it was organized by a church that I used to go to, Evangelical Presbyterian Church. And ironically, we were in the same office that I'm talking to everyone in. I'm in a taxi, which I use for work. And I was sitting actually here in the middle of the passenger in the front seat and the driver. And I saw a giraffe for the first time. And the comment I said, I was like, and I was the youngest in the taxi, by the way. And I was like, Yatisheika, as in like it's giving the catwalk. It's walking in pride and dignity. For those who have seen a giraffe before, you will know that, you know, with its height, the way it walks, it's just so elegant. It shows how proud it is for the design that God has actually given it. So that was my first encounter with a giraffe and my first game drive. So I moved to Malamlele, where I spent most of my life at, and we used to go bird hunting. In bird hunting, the first bird that I shot, yeah, sorry to say this, but yes, I killed that bird with some slingshots, and it fell on top of the leaf of a spinach. And instead of taking that bird to the braai stand where it was supposed to go to, I was fascinated by the colors, the contrast it had. It was a black-masked weaver, yellow weaver. We usually have them in the summertime, the springtime as well around. Um, Communal beds actually. It really sparked my attention and really got me um, intrigued into wanting to understand more about nature. Yes, I went to Kruger, but everything was afar. But that was an opportunity for me to see in detail the anatomy of these birds. And what I did last was to bury that bird. And that was the conviction that, hey, I need to follow a path in conservation, although the term conservation didn't exist yet. So in school, I did my biology, my physical sciences, my mathematics, and then I managed to pass and went to university. I've noticed that we have a lot of our future rangers here. Some of them are in grade 12. Well, when I was in grade 12, honestly, um, I wanted to be a pharmacologist. I wanted to be a pharmacist. I wanted to be an analytical chemist. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a doctor as well. And I'm saying this because I know that it's expected that for grade 12 to know exactly what they want to go for. But at this time of the year, I was uncertain as yet. And only towards the end of the year, where I got a bit of light with regards to what exists within the conservation world. But that was through the stream of environmental sciences, which is the stream that I followed. So before going into post-matric, the reason why I was uncertain, it was because not a lot of opportunities was shared with us. And all those pharmacology, analytical chemists, those are things I saw on brochures when I was trying to apply for university. But looking at those, I could tell that my heart is not really there. It looks fancy because of the movies that we see and all that, but my heart is not there. So fortunately, I passed my matric, and then I was fortunate enough to go into university where I studied environmental sciences at the University of Venda in Venda. And through the course, I was exposed to the world of conservation. I remember we went on a field trip at La Palala Wilderness School, where we got into detail in terms of learning about scientific names of plants. That's where I got a nickname, Ziziphus macronata, which is a buffalo thorn. That was the first tree that I knew its uses and the beliefs around it, and that really watered, the thirst that I had for conservation. And that's when I knew that, you know what, this is the path that I really wanted to follow. But without exposure to much of the careers that exist within the conservation field, I was like, you know what, let me pursue my course. And then as time goes, opportunities will rise. During that time, I wasn't as confident as I am now. Not, I haven't reached that stage, but it's something that I'm still working on. But during that time, the confidence that I had was very, very low. So this brings me to the first thing that I want to share with the students that we are having this session for. That, you know what, as much as you can get your grades, it's good that you work on your personal attributes, and one of those attributes is confidence. During my time in university, I had opportunities to meet different people, different people who could have taken me a step ahead in terms of my career. But because I did not have the confidence to reach out to them, to maintain those relationships with them, those connections happened to fade away. And it's something that I live to want to to help other students to divert from, to build their confidence, for them to be able to see opportunities, not just see them, approach them with confidence, and be able to maintain those relationships, because your success, honestly, it lies in the people that you know, in the environment that you are in. So, completed that. And then at home, I stayed for like a few months without being employed. And that's where I went and sold tomatoes at the street, tomatoes, butternut, let me say vegetables. And that moment in my life, it's the life where I got to learn a lot about interacting with people, because different people come, to want to buy vegetables. That's when I learn a lot about the way I present myself in terms of how people tend to receive who I am, as a person, because people come and buy your character, how you present yourself to them. That's what people come to your marketplace for. Because before they can touch your 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 product that you are selling, and the product can be your CV. The product can be whatever that you are selling. That's what people see you before they can be attached to that. Well, fast forward, um, that really worked. Let me say I wasn't yet to the standard in terms of the confidence that I have built within the few months that I was unemployed. So that led to me um, being employed by Lidet in a reserve called Litaba Range. Litaba Range is situated in the Palabura area, next to the Palabura gate of the Kruger National Park. It's a big 5 nature reserve where I was employed as a field ranger. So that's when I got really intimate with nature. That's where I got, let me say, the first-hand experience as to what conservation is about. Because as much as I was employed to be in the office, I got opportunities to go and walk with field rangers in the field, getting to more like learn the practical side of the environment at large. And that's where I met two gentlemen, Mr. Mabasa Rolani, who was the reserve manager, and also Bodwisani, Wisani Mkansi, who is a field ranger, but also a bird guide. He's a bird specialist as well. And these are the two people who gave me more information and more thirst as to what nature is about. So during my experience there, I got to fall more in love and more connected to the experiences that I got while I was young. So that was a push in terms of what I really wanted to do in my life, the connection that I had. So it's more like it was a bridge between the two circuits, my old life, my young life, and where I am today. So that was a huge bridge. So Budwisane, I spent a lot of time in the field. He loved birds. The guy I could call right now, and he could hear a bird over the phone. I would tell me, that is this and this. Its flying pattern is like that. It feeds on this and this. The tree it love it's in this particular biome, so you might be in this particular place just because of hearing the sound of a bird. So that is the kind of attitude and energy that I spent a whole year around. So that was a really good experience. And working in a place where there is Big Five, that really confirmed, Gore, hey, Mzamani, this is the information that you really needed. This is the experience that you really needed. So that post ended after a year, and then one of my members in there, or one of my former colleagues, sent me a link that sent me to the website of an organization where I applied, and I was fortunate enough to be called for interviews. So on my way there, I had to pass by Litava Ranch, and at Litava Ranch, I got a chance to. Fortunately, there were elephants by the fence, and I couldn't resist. I had to stop and record those elephants. They were just feeding on those mopane trees, just living large, in a protected areas. They seemed very relaxed and not really worried about who I am and what I was doing. So I captured that and continued to the interview venue. So I got interviewed, and fortunately, that was a scholarship to become a field ranger. And in the interviews, I remember my closing remark was, on my way here, I think the last question I got was, why? Why are you so passionate about conservation? And the last note that I closed on was showing them the video that I took that morning because I couldn't resist, the thirst and the experience that my natural heritage was offering on my way to the interview. So that happened to be actually a gateway, into me experiencing the world of conservation as well. Because through that scholarship, I was fortunate to be called and uh, went to the Wildlife College to be trained as a field ranger. So remember earlier I spoke about courage and confidence. So to me, when I applied for this scholarship, it was a personal test. It was a personal test for me um, to 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 expose myself in the world out there, in terms of building my courage, and then also in terms of being connected to people who can really assist me, because as I said earlier, your success lies in the people around you. So that was a mission. So during the training, I made sure that I exposed myself to everyone in the ranger base camp. I know Mr. Vongan and Mr. Kutalo, who just had to leave for other commitments as well. They remember the place really, really well. That's where we got grinded. That's where we got refined in terms of discipline, in terms of attitude, through the field ranger training that we got in there. So fortunately, I didn't know that the organization that I'm currently working for, which is the Global Conservation Corps, would be the one that would be awarding us with the certificates after the training. And after the award, I was recognized by Mr. Matt Lindenbeck, who is the founder and executive director of the Global Conservation Corps, GCC. And somehow we happened to click, and he made sure that he was at the training, during the training and all that. He made sure that he was available there and there. And it seems like he recognized some of the qualities that I had, and later on, later on, I I was absorbed into the organization, and the way I got into the organization, yeah, GCC. And through the time here in GCC, I let me say I was absorbed in to run the careers, to produce and host the program or the project careers in conservation, which is a YouTube series that seeks to highlight the different careers that exist within the world of conservation. That's where I have to spend time, or I spend time with local conservation heroes, highlighting or spending a day with them, highlighting things like what it means to become a field ranger, things like what it means to become a field guide. And Podusane, as well as a bird specialist, is part of the series as well. So what got me attached to this project was that, reflecting on my journey to becoming involved, more intimate in the world of conservation, was that there was not enough information out there about the different careers that exist within conservation, about the different roads that you can take within the conservation field. So that was a gap that existed in my life, and that I was keen and hungry to want to keen and hungry to want to close. So just a second, sorry. That was a gap that I really wanted to bridge, and the main objective of this series, or maybe the mission of the organization which this series fed to, is to bridge the gap between communities and wildlife areas. So that really got me tied to this project. And then later on, I grew through the mentorship of Matt Lindenberg, Justin Sullivan, Josh and Justin, and the whole GCC crew. So from there, after the series, we hosted this series for a year. For those who need to watch the series, please go to YouTube, type Careers in Conservation, GCC, you'll find the different series in there. So currently, I work as a community liaison officer. And as a community liaison officer, I work under the wing of the Future Rangers program, which is one of the program that the Global Conservation Corps is running within the Manyelete region. So as a community liaison officer, or maybe let me talk about the Future Rangers program first, because it feeds into the role that I'm playing currently. The Future Rangers program is a program that was started 7 years ago, with the aim to connect the local communities within the protected areas around. We did a survey back then that showed that 4 in 5 students have never seen wildlife before. And we've heard from the stories of Mr. Kutala and Mr. Bongani in terms of the exposure, when they got the exposure to this, to the wildlife areas. So we saw that as a challenge, also, within the conservation world at large, because if you know nothing about something, then you cannot value it, which then ties in to the poaching that we are having, that the local communities don't know much about these they don't know much about the wildlife areas and how they can benefit from it. So this was an opportunity. The Future Rangers program was an opportunity, or is an opportunity, to bridge that gap. So I joined the program, and working as a community liaison officer, I I communicate a lot with the learners and the communities itself. So within the program, we work within the primary schools with the primary schools. That's where we inspire all the kids, to know more about conservation. That's where we do game drive, we do events, just to get them excited about the world of conservation. And then in high school, we believe that those who are passionate, in primary school, they will have a bit of light when they get to high school. So that's where we are now a bit more focused, and as an NGO, we want to rally the few resources that we have, to those who really want to benefit, from who want to really go or venture into the conservation world. So in high school, we now have focus kids. Currently, we're having around 90 kids whom we are working with from grade 8 to grade 11, divided into three cohorts: grade 8 and 9, the explorers, 10 and 11, as the ambassadors, and then the grade 12s as the graduates. And we expose them to the experiences that we had, and that's where we channel the passion that they had from a young age, into certain careers that they want to venture into. So we have, let me talk about the graduates as much, because the graduates are the ones who have now highlighted the careers that they want. We have children who wants to become field rangers, children who wants to become veterinarian, children who wants to become field guides, and those are the kids that we are working on, and hopefully by the end of this year they will find placement. But Benis, I want to say this, that I know that already we have started knocking in your doors, because we have students who wants to become what, field guides. And I see now Kutala, Misela, now you're on, you're highlighted here, meaning that my time is running up. Let me say, I've also recently qualified as a field guide, because this is a qualification that I think it qualifies me and has exposed me to the in-depth of what it means to be a field guide, and also quantifies and credit the work that I do as a community liaison officer. Bernice mentioned that, a field guide is about being, you need to be a people's person, to become a field guide. And that is the role that I am playing currently. And through the mentorship of Scott Yaman and the Wildlife College, and my practical examination assessor, Mr. Ben Colley, I was qualified as a field guide. And yes, those are the qualifications that I'm having currently, and which are um, pursuing me, or encouraging me to do the work that I'm doing, which is to bridge the gap between communities and wildlife areas. As much as I'm working with the learners, the parents as well, they are now being interested in the work, into what is happening within the protected areas across those fences, because as South Africans and also other countries as well, fences have been seen as boundaries, but the program and the qualifications of field guides in there, the work, let me say, the work that field guides are doing within the protected areas, and what Mr. Vongane and Mr. Kutala are doing, it's really changing the perspective and attitude of the communities within the protected areas at large. And this courage that I've gained throughout this process is the one that led me to reaching out to share screen, to give the opportunity to other learners as well to be exposed at an earlier stage, to the different careers that exist within the conservation space, and tap into this field, because it is filled with potential. It is rewarding. It is very, very rewarding. I remember one of the game drives that I shared with one of the kids. This kid lives 3.5 kilometers away from a protected area, and he only saw a giraffe while he was in grade 7. And when he saw this giraffe, his mind was blown away. His I can swear that that day he was born again into the conservation world, and that was just amazing. So as Mr. Wongane and Kutala said, that it's one of the most rewarding jobs, or careers that you could venture into. And I could encourage each and everyone to, like, what, even though you might not be in a conservation field, but if you can attain that FAGASA qualification, it exposes you to the world around you, because conservation, it's not just an industry, it houses all the other careers as well, because conservation, I think of conservation as a lifestyle than just a career, than just an industry that one could venture into, So I know I touched a lot of points. I was trying by all means to stick within the 15 minutes that was that was allocated for me. But I believe that I might have touched some lives, in terms of wanting to venture into careers in conservation. It's rewarding. It's very rewarding. It's
Yeah,
it's something that I love very, very much. And
yeah.
after this, I'll be reaching
You,
out to you, Venice, to finish the last steps in terms of my qualification and all that. But I've been certified by Mr. Ben Colley, and I've passed my theory exams as well. I've seen a few of my colleagues here, Miss Ash, Miss Tolly, Miss Arita as well, who are doing their FIGASA qualification as well, and super proud of them. I think I should mention as well that as an organization in the conservation field, we are all connected. I'm saying we are all connected
yes.
because I worked so much with Mr. Bongani while he was in Timbawati Foundation, and also while he is in Koro Camp. Actually, in 2 weeks' time, we will be together in Koro Camp, doing what we love, which is to bridge the gap
Yeah.
between
And
communities and wildlife areas.
yeah, thank you so much, Mboni. Thank you so much. It's quite interesting to hear how your journey started. Killing that bird, but failing to eat it, and you just bury it. That story tells a big story, and where you're going and what you're doing, it's really interesting. Thank you so much for your work, and we really appreciate you. Yeah. So right now, I will open for questions from the audience. If you have a question for Mboni, a comment, the time is now. You can raise your virtual hand or you write it in the chat. I will ask it for you. Let me see what's in the chats. Yeah, there are comments. Benice says, I love your passion. And we could see your passion through your eyes when you speak and the energy. Thank you so much, Mboni. Any question? It feels like there are no questions from the chat, but I would like to thank you, Mboni, for your time and for starting this whole series. It has been a great series to hear from different passionate people who are doing big things in conservation and to inspire the young ones. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's just interesting. I'm blown away. Like I'm blown away. I'm already in conservation, but now I think I'm more. I don't even think of going anywhere. I'm settled here. One day I might be the queen of conservation. Okay, there is a question. There is a hand from Isaiah. Isaiah, can you unmute and ask your question?
Sure, definitely. Thank you very much, Stella. It's good evening from here. It's a good afternoon from here, actually. I'm Isaiah Poron, and I'm Nigerian. I'm currently living in Rwanda. I hope once some of you may have visited here. I study at the African Leadership University, School of Business, where I'm currently studying for my MBA, and I'm looking at specializing in conservation. I have a background teaching in the classroom, so you can understand why this this is exciting for me. Unfortunately, I joined a bit late, but I caught, the story from when he was talking about the impact, making visiting schools and talking about inspiring conservation. I wish we had more of that, while as a teacher. Right now, considering like a career shift into conservation, I'm quite new to the space. Okay, so I currently am doing like a research, looking at nature-based tourism, and that is it's really exciting to see what really happens in nature, the impact it's making in the lives of people and in the lives of the planet as well. So I'm really inspired by the story. I just want to say thank you for sharing. Mbhoni, I hope I'm to pronounce it properly though, but I thank you very much. So my question to you would be, what has been the most impactful part of your journey? I mean, personally, I know you shared a lot, and so two questions. It's going to be two in one question though. First of all, the most impact it has made for you, um, and then, of course, how long, right, did it take for you to make your transition and so far?
Thank you so much, Isaiah. From the African Leadership University. I was there 2 years back, attending an event by SOC, the conservation department in your university. So good to hear people from the university joining in. So in my in my line of work, let me say the most impactful session in my line of work was mostly realizing that there is a challenge, in terms of my character, and coming up with a way, to try and deal with that character, which was shyness. Um, I was extremely shy and couldn't have a conversation and couldn't speak the way I'm speaking to you currently, and that deterred me from building and maintaining relationship. So realizing that and taking a step to want to work on it, that was really, really impactful in my life. It's something that I reflect on and encourage and want to share with the learners that I am working with, because I see that as a boundary that could hinder them from proceeding in terms of their career objectives, but also to, when their perspective changes, man, it's impactful to the learners, also to me personally as well, to see that expression of the learners when they see wildlife for the first time, when they realize the kind of opportunities that are at their doorstep. That is really, really, it's a continuous impactful experience for me. And then in terms of transitioning, it didn't take much, because remember, in school, in university, I did environmental sciences, so it's already connected to the conservation world, So afterwards, you just apply for what comes, and I happen to be. Actually, the universe was just calling, man, because I happened to go into field ranging, and it led to where I am today. So transitioning, I think I stayed for like 6 months to 6 months without being employed. That's why I was selling tomatoes, vegetables in town, at the market, So, and yeah, taking a leap of faith, and finding that courage to knock on those doors, be it links, be it working on yourself, So yeah, that's it. I hope I've answered your question fully.
So I was saying thank you so much, Mbhoni, and I saw in the chat Isaiah says he now understands. That means he's happy with the answer. Yeah, and Isaiah, in your talk, you said you wanted we should do more of this, and I would like to bring to your attention that you are on the right platform. We now have another series in the cooking, which I think would be of interest to you. Yeah, so just keep on following our news, and you'll see it's titled the Trailer Breezers. Yeah, it should soon happen. And Mbon, you also need to join this, and you can even share with your students. Yeah. All right. If there are no any more questions, then I would like to thank our speakers, and also a huge thanks to our audience for joining and for sticking in. We know we have run out of time, but you were still here. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And I'm wishing you a good evening. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Stella. It was an honor.
Mara Kozechane.
Asante.